Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Sydney. This bus is Optibus Prime, and today we're talking about why I chose a school bus over an RV and why you maybe should consider that too if you're on the fence. So when I used to go around telling people I'm gonna go buy a school bus, convert it into a tiny home, la da 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 da, travel, they'd say, well, isn't that just an RV? Why don't you just buy an RV? And boy, do I have a list of reasons. You just saw all my chicken scratch. I have 6 reasons why I personally chose a school bus. So the very first reason on that list is safety. School buses are made extremely safe. They are as close to tanks as you are going to get for $5,000 on a public road. So school buses, they're made to carry children, and if America loves anything more than puppies, it is babies. It is children. You know, the future of America. This thing was built to carry. So you're not going to find anything safer to drive on a school bus in case of an accident. These buses are built extremely structural. They're made so that if they do roll over, the people on the inside are safe. RVs just don't compare. In fact, RVs are probably one of the weakest structurally things on wheels that you will find on the road. I mean, just look up a picture of an RV crash versus a school bus crash, and you won't even be able to tell it's an RV in that picture. I could pull one up right now. Boom. I could pull up a school bus crash right now. Boom. It's night and day, people. So just consider that. School buses, they're extremely safe, and I'd say they're doing a good job. So school buses are just pure metal, and it's really hard to tear that apart in case of an accident. So this leads me to point number 2. RVs are made from fiberglass while most school buses are made with metal. And this is important because like you see all of the amazing home on wheels, tiny homes, you know, they have their second layer to their home, which is on the roof. If you are planning to mount solar panels and have a nice rooftop deck, you really don't want to do that on fiberglass because it is just not as structurally strong as a school bus to hold all of that weight up there. So if you plan on doing a whole bunch of exterior modifications to your bus or to your home on wheels, I would choose a bus over an RV because the RV just won't be able to handle it. There are plenty of RVs out there though that do hold up solar. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but you do have to consider that more than you would when you have a school bus. So reason number 3 why I think a school bus is a little bit better than an RV is it's fully customizable. Of course, you can go out and gut an RV and make it your own, but at that point, it's just like, why not just go the extra mile and do a school bus? But I'm not judging anyone who does do that. I've seen so many awesome people who do that. I'm just saying, a school bus, you get to customize it from the start, whereas an RV, it's pretty much laid out for you, and, you can add a painting here, a blanket there, but unless you rip that whole bad boy out, you're stuck with what you've got. And some of those just don't feel very homey to me. I mean, when you look at these RVs, they don't look like homes. And that leads me to point number 4. RVs are not built to live full time. They're not built to be off grid, and therefore you might face some struggles on the road that you wouldn't in a school bus, because school buses from the bottom up, if you are building it and designing it yourself, you would be designing it for full-time use if that is your purpose. An RV, they have very small water tanks, and they do not have most of the times solar because they're not made for off-grid. They are built with in mind that you are going to be going to RV parks all the time where you can just hook up and have constant water, constant electricity. So one of the things that I see a lot of people do in school buses too is they'll install a rooftop AC, because that's what all the RVs do. All the RVs have rooftop AC, so it might be fine in a school bus. If you are going to be off grid in a school bus, I highly suggest you go with the mini split. They are so much more efficient. The reason RVs have all of those rooftop air conditioning units is because they are plugged in all the time, because RVs are not built for full-time use. Why do you think they winterize them? Those things are not built to travel year around. Of course, there's modifications you can do to make it suit your needs to live full time, but if you're just debating straight up buying a school bus to convert or an already made RV, a school bus might be your better option. And so seeing as RVs are not built to live full time, this brings in the question of storage. My point number, 5 now? Point number 5, RVs do not have the kind of storage that a school bus that you build with your own hands will have. There are so many people on the road who say, I have more storage than I even need, because when you're building a school bus, the very first thing on your mind is storage. How am I going to fit everything in my home onto the school bus? So every nook and cranny is somewhere where you can store storage. Whereas with an RV, they are built and they are designed for weekend trips. So all you need is your suitcase. You don't need to pack all your groceries. You don't need to pack all of your toiletries, all your cleaning supplies, everything that you need in a home. There isn't all the space for it in an RV, and that's something to consider. Another thing to consider, which I will group into still the same point number 5, is RVs do not have the weight capacity that school buses do. RVs cannot haul around as much stuff as a school bus can. So if you are building a rooftop with solar in an RV, that takes up a lot of the weight that you could have potentially used inside of your RV. And that's just something to consider. You cannot carry as much stuff in an RV as you can in a school bus. Hope that made sense. And the very last reason number 6, why I believe a school bus is better than an RV, is because unless you are buying the most luxurious RV out there, which aren't even that luxurious. They say luxurious, but they're not built luxurious. They look luxurious, but all RVs are built very cheaply. But they have the biggest price tag ever. So many people are like, oh, I'm just gonna sell everything and move into an RVs cost $200,000. At this rate, people, even if you're not building the school bus yourself, if you have that much money to put towards an RV, then just pay someone to build a school bus for you. If you want something pre-made, if you want something pre-made to travel in across the country, but you don't want to make it yourself, just hire somebody to build out that school bus for you. Do your research, maybe reach out to people who you've seen them do amazing builds. There's so many people out there willing to build school buses the right way. That is important. That is very important. Have somebody build it the right way. And boom, you're set. If you have $150,000 to put into an RV, you could build the most beautiful home on wheels, dream home. I mean, just boom, Bob's your uncle school bus conversion for half of that. Well, I mean, I guess with labor costs, if you're paying someone to build it for you, it could get, maybe like a third of that. No, half of that. No, like 3/4 of that. Whatever it is, you can buy your perfect home in school bus form for way less than you could these very cheap RVs. So these are just things to consider. And if you are going the route where you were building this home yourself, you were building your school bus yourself, then I mean, I just think it's a very obvious, clear winner. Because if you're building this home by yourself, you could get exactly what you wanted out of an RV and more in a school bus. Now, I don't want y'all to think I hate RVs. I've always loved RVs. RVs are awesome. This is not an RV hate page by absolutely any means. I am just sharing this for people who might be on the edge between buying an RV or converting a school bus. And if you are on the edge between converting a school bus and buying an RV, I will also give you a few reasons why maybe you might want to go with an RV instead of a school bus. Because I just listed all the reasons why school buses are better. I'll give you a little something why an RV could be right for you. If you are not planning to live fully off-grid and it's just a nice vacation home, that you travel in, then RVs are nice because you can just pull into an RV park and Bob's your uncle. Another reason why you might want to go with a RV instead of a school bus is you can finance that way better than you can a school bus. Not many school buses are being financed right now, so that is also something to consider. Another thing is engine-wise, if you were buying an old school bus, you were probably buying something with at least 80,000 miles on it. Don't get me wrong, diesel engines can handle those kind of miles and be put, actually, 80,000 miles on a school bus is still breaking this engine in. So, that's not really a big deal. But if that's something you're worried about, you could buy an RV with way less miles and not be as concerned. One last thing, for the RV parks that do not accept school buses, a lot of the time it's because they have a rule that says they don't allow vehicles older than 10 years into that RV resort. And if they say that, it's not because you have a school bus. It's because you have a vehicle older than 10 years, even if you have an RV. like they won't accept it because it's older than 10 years. So that's not necessarily like targeting school buses. That's targeting anybody who couldn't get a brand new RV, okay? So, yeah, if you're looking for something brand spanking new, then sure, go with an RV. But if you're looking for a journey, you know, maybe a conversation starter or just something just to laugh at, then school bus, people, school bus. So, yeah. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any more questions or want me to post any more videos on other topics, please leave those comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe. My socials are above. And yes, you know where to find me. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.